in the current gen systems, meaning the 360 and the PS3. Backwards compatible with Wii software. Some kind of built-in HD screen on the controller. They're saying it's like 5 or 6 inches.
Yeah, I mean,
wouldn't that make the controller cost about $200 by itself?
Maybe that's the entire system. Maybe that is it. You just buy a controller.
Yeah.
No, to be fair, some of these rumors right here are a little bit dated by now. I mean,
because they happened 3 days ago.
Yeah, I mean 3 days. I mean, geez. I mean, the Nintendo Ninjas.
It's a lifetime on the internet.
The Nintendo Ninjas have definitely lost their touch here with all this information coming out.
I call bullshit on all this in all honesty.
A lot of it is probably, it's all secondhand. Obviously,
or fifth hand.
It's either complete bullshit as you said, or some of it, the credible stuff, is secondhand stuff coming from the few developers who actually have the dev kits. EA, Ubisoft, and Activision.
But do we even know that they have it? Again, that's just all.
It's amazing to me. Once one rumor hits, and Game Informer had the first story, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I got dev kits. Let me tell you what it is." And I think there's this sort of mentality where everyone wants to feel like they're in the know, so they're just making stuff up. And it will be interesting to see what the innovation is. And it's maybe they're just also experimenting with ideas. And I mean, Nintendo does a lot of prototyping of ideas, and things may not make the final system.
I mean, what's being thrown out there now ultimately would make the system cost about $599
right? And Nintendo loves to do things cheap. I mean, my biggest kind of question about this whole just the philosophy of doing this HD system, this kind of level of graphics, you got to remember the first party Nintendo developers. They don't know how to make HD games. They don't have the team size to build these big games. So I really wonder, philosophically, what Nintendo's thinking. If they're really going down this path, Miyamoto and his teams, they don't have enough resources in Japan to do this. So are they going to start doing more things like we saw with Other M, partner with other developers? Maybe that's why they're briefing third parties, because they want to get,
are we going to see even less software than
you look at how much third-party software, is released for the Wii. I mean, when Nintendo software, official Nintendo stuff comes out, it's few and far between. Right. And hopefully, 9 times out of 10 it's excellent. But if it wasn't for the third parties, that would, the Wii would have been a dust bowl.
And it's one thing for third parties to invest, a couple million in a Wii game, but now, if you got to do really these blockbuster games, it's really interesting. So right now, the strategy doesn't make a lot of sense, I think. But
eventually, Nintendo has to do it, right? They can't keep making standard definition games till the end of time.
But it's just maybe we're going to have, a Zelda with full voiceover and huge next gen visuals. I mean, it's like, I don't think that's something that Nintendo's going to be able to, build. Is Kojima going to build that for him or something?
Curve, yeah.
And it's like, that's why I really wonder, Nintendo is known for great first-party software, and I just don't know, what kind of